you're supposed to have like that internal conflict. Like, that's gonna happen. So me, that really hit with me, and I'm really glad that I read that when I did, because on the road to like bettering things in my life that I want to better, and they don't feel like they're getting better internally, I'll get like really frustrated, and I'll like think like, am I doing things right, or should I have done things this way? Should I have done things that way? Yada yada yada. But like in reading that, it tells me like, oh, I'm supposed to be going through that. Like I'm supposed to be dealing with that internal conflict. I'm like, that's a part of the game. So that's made the hard times a little bit easier because it's like that's just a part of it. Like getting rid of the idea that everything life's going to be easy flowing all the time. Like that's not life. That's just not life.
No, it is not. And with that being said, here is podcast number 3 from All Inclusive with your boy.
Isaac and Mr.
Andrei.
How
But
do you feel about that introduction? You like it? You don't switch it up.
I don't mind switching it up. I mean, I feel like we'll find a groove and we'll go with it. But for now, just something around there. As long as the groundwork is there, I guess.
Yeah, we're trying shit out.
Yeah. I like trying shit out.
Yeah, me too. It's like girls are nice.
Immediately, boom.
Girls are hot, but there's more to the world. You don't want to be too. You want to get out. That's what this podcast is about. Is getting outside your comfort zone. So, guys, this is what this podcast is today. I will be sucking a dick on my first dick on camera for the first time. I'm excited. I'm a little bit nervous. The thing is that we also want to work our way up through the ranks. I made sure to. I want to start at level 1, so I got a Kyoto coming over right now. So Kyoto is from Eastern Vietnam. He is a farmer, a rice farmer. We flew him over for this because we want to inspire our audience. You want to inspire them that you got to try new things.
Yeah.
So Kyoto will be here shortly.
Yes.
So that's how we're getting rolling today. Andrew, you asked me how I was doing. I gave you my explanation.
Well,
How are you
I mean,
doing?
I was also gonna say that's why I have my dog right here. If if you really thought why is my dog in every podcast, well, we're gonna try new things and we're gonna do it live, right here.
I like it. That's bold. That's bold.
Yeah. I mean, you just gotta try new things. You gotta try new things. That's what life's
How's
about.
he feeling about it?
Worried, stressed, but
I can see that on his face.
but
It looks like he knows you locked the door.
he does. That's why he's pissed off right now.
He's not like, moving out. Oh, he doesn't want to get this shit over with.
Yeah, but he's like, I just heard what you just said, and I don't like it. But going back to being worried and stressed about life and new things, I feel like trying new things does in fact make you worried and stressed because there's this like fear factor in it of failing or not being the best that you thought you could be.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when it comes to trying new things, it is very okay to be worried and stressed, as my dog is right now. So
he's really holding it together. I'm not gonna lie.
that's all you can do. That's all you can do.
How to be like Jeter? How do we be like Jeter, Andrew? You train him to be that way, so you must know the information. How do we be like him?
And I was thinking this earlier today. Actually, I was like, how do I be more stoic in the face of hardship, in the face of pain, the face of everything that you don't like, how do you become that person that when it goes to this, when it goes to that extreme um, of pain, whether it be a personal or with someone else or a group setting, like a family member death or whatever. How do you be that person that everyone can rely on? Is a question I've been asking myself recently, and I feel like personally, recently with all my losses that I have lost, it's time. It's time to learn that because I mean, there's no one that's gonna help you more than yourself. And reconnecting. Are you getting a reconnecting over there?
I'm not getting reconnecting, but I can see you.
Okay.
Oh,
No, yeah. In the face of hardship, because there's no one that's gonna help you more than yourself. And I feel like, yes, you can wallow in your pity and lay down for a couple days to truly understand what you were going through. Because I feel like that's what happened to me recently. From like Monday to yesterday, to be honest, it was just a lot of what the fuck is this? And what I learned is two things: is a, no one truly gives a fuck about you. It's like you can tell however many people you want, and I mean, obviously, there's people that give a fuck, but like, I mean, at the end of the day, they're not gonna be like, let me help you with something, or it's like, I'm gonna get you a new job. Like, I feel like that's kind of what people want. Is like, oh, I want, like, if I what I would want is someone to just be like, essentially take care of me like a baby, but that's definitely not gonna happen, and I know that now, and so knowing that the only way to look at it is through like a positive lens, as you got to get your ass back up. I feel like that's a learning curve for me right now.
mm. Fall down 7 times, get up 8.
Like, you know, babe.
Yeah, I'll be honest. You look super professional, sitting there sipping on that mug while we're talking.
Like it's good. Like I look outside a window and I just feel it. You know what I mean? I just feel like, whew.
Like, I just felt like I was talking to a fucking CEO. The way you just slowly lifted up that mug and just were sipping at it as I was talking, not even making eye contact. Like, say what you were gonna say to me, peasant.
Well, that's how Kyoto did it with you too. He did a
That
little.
that that's how he got me.
He did
That's
a
how he
little.
got me. Fuck is he? Anyways, there's something that you said that I don't know. When people say, I've heard like people say like no one gives a fuck about you. I don't find that to be true. Like you said that there are people who do give a fuck about you. Of course, no one's gonna like pick Andrew up or pick Isaac up, fucking run me to the fucking, I don't know, to Boost Mobile and fucking ask ask for the manager and tell the manager that I want I want Isaac to get a job here. No one's gonna do that shit. But like I don't know. Maybe it's easy for me to say this because I do feel like I have people who genuinely care about me. But it's like no one. It's like no one has time to do all that for you because they got to worry about their own lives. You know. But I do like to believe that even like unsuspecting people. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. I feel like even like a random person can care about you. Like they want to see you do better. Of course, like it's within your hands. Like you have to want to get better. But like, I do think that there are people out there like that in the world who, have the space to give
Right.
to you to like lift you up. You know what I mean? Like be like supportive.
Yeah. 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 And I feel like I do not take that back, but how felt like it said it was more like, as in, like, no one is gonna actually do what you need to do for
Mm.
yourself, I guess. But you said like the uplifting, the empathy, the support group. Like, I definitely feel like I have that right now, and it's almost unbelievable, like how much like you've been helping helping me out, my cousin, my other friends involved. But yeah, no, and at the end of the day, it's like, but I had to take in the actual pain of it, I guess. And that's where
Mm-hmm.
like you feel that aloneness because it's like no matter how much support I am really getting right now, like when I'm alone and by myself, like these thoughts, like no no one can like feel that for you. I mean, they can feel that with you, they can't feel that for you. So I guess yeah, yeah, no one's gonna do what you have to do for yourself. So
That's right.
I like that you said that because that just made me like think like no, you definitely do have people that are there for you. So
How do you think you would be handling your problems if you didn't have anyone?
man, man, I think it would have been way more tough, way more tough. I felt like if I can't talk, like I've been talking to people throughout this whole week, maybe like 4 to 6 times a day, and that excludes like texting people uh, and just like yeah, just texting people, but like calling people, like I've called a couple of people, called you, and so if I didn't have a support group, whew, I would think I would have been in shambles. I think I would have never like gotten out of this room. I don't think I would ever even like care about anything. So the fact that I have a support group and the fact that people love me and I can feel it, um, definitely, it definitely does help. And I feel like to have to be someone that's not all right at the moment and to lean on people. It's first scary because I don't like to lean on people. I like to take it on my own and like I just feel like that feeling of like not using people but like I don't feel like I should be telling people how I feel and like care about me. But it's like at the same time you gotta do that, honestly. You have to. Like this is the most vulnerable I've ever been and I think it's helping me out a lot and it's showing me a lot.
You're being shown how much easier it is to work through these things, allowing yourself to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Is that what you're thinking, or what you just said?
Allowing me allowing myself to tell people I'm not okay, and that's something I've never really felt before. Um, Usually, I try to hide it or I try to take it within, but you got to tell when you tell people you're not okay, and that the fact I think that's why I'm bouncing back so much better is because I'm not saying I'm like, oh, it happened to me, I felt nothing, whatever, I'm good. I feel like that's like it sounds good to be that person, but like to say I'm not okay at the moment and I know I will be better, it might be more realistic and more. So I'm trying to be more honest with myself. So that's one thing that I see that I'm working on is like you're not okay, and you're gonna tell people that you're not okay because if you don't, you'll probably take it in and you know be even worse. So
Self implode. Mm. Man, that's deep stuff, and I'm every time that you talk, I'm always taking it as like, how can I learn from this? Um, I feel like there are very select people who I'll tell who that I'm not okay. Um, I don't know. I've always thought that like, or as of recent, I'd say about probably the past year or two, I've thought about just being like, I heard this perspective like if like you don't want to talk about the things that hurt you, like you want to feed basically in the service of feeding that which uplifts you, right? And it's like a part of me has been like avoiding talking about my downfalls. Um, just because it's not really so much about like being perceived as weak, but it's more so like that the belief that like I'll be feeding that energy within myself. It's like, oh, I don't want to be talking about how I'm always okay because like I feel like I'll like keep myself in that pit. But it always feels so good to just get it out. You know?
And to like to realize that you're not okay. I mean, like you said, like it's very like you don't want to be feeding that energy. You don't want to like be throwing that out that and like because you could go through a a slippery slope of saying I'm not okay. I could put things off tomorrow. I'm not okay. I can you start blaming or not blaming it, but yeah, you have you have an excuse. You have an excuse to not be okay, and I feel like even when you're down like that, I think this is when you have to push the hardest. And that might
Mm.
be wrong, but push the hardest you've ever been before, just because you have. Well, I feel like you have, you know, basically nothing is what I feel. Basically nothing, and I think I want like goals now. Like I want to achieve something because I know that's what makes me happy and that's what makes me go on in life. And yeah, that was something to come to terms with.
When did you have that realization?
About there's nothing at all essentially,
Just
or
about how you say that like you realize that goals are important to you.
hmm, right, right. I mean, I think I noticed it today. I went to the gym and I realized like I love going to the gym because it's like I think we talked about in our last podcast, but essentially it's a short term goal. It's like a short term goal with a long term consequence. So it has both the perfect feeling for somebody. It's like you feel good in the moment, but you also know it'll be great in the moment later on. And like having goals actually like wires your brain. And obviously, I'm not no expert psychology, but from what I remember is that it wires your brain to like so when you have a goal that you will always like try to find it and like that releases like all these chemicals like serotonin and dopamine when you are achieving a goal and those chemicals obviously are good for when you're down
Right.
so yeah.
Goal setting. What
What
are
do
your
you
goals now?
well one of them is you right here talking to you right now. That's a goal.
Oh, oh thank you.
uh, don't know if I'm winning on it, but I'm gonna try. But that gain more weight, eat healthier, uh, try to experience life from a different lens. And my new lens is you will fail, you will be embarrassing, you will be flawed, but you got to keep pushing. And that's what I'm saying right now.
So when you say that, I'm hearing like a coming coming to terms with that's going to happen anyways. So
Yeah,
like it's like facing it rather than running from it or pretending that it doesn't exist, right?
right.
Do you feel like as of recent it's been easier for you to like see things that way within yourself?
Like to know that I'm flawed and stuff like that. Or,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, yesterday was definitely tough on me mentally, and I feel like that's just normal. Like you probably will have good days and bad days, but I woke up today with like a different energy, a different spirit. You know what I mean? Like I woke up and I was like, I understood with the things I've done, and I understand that. But no one here has ever said like, be perfect. Like anyone you talk to, they're never like, you have to be perfect, you have to be great. Like, I mean, give or take, the coaches always want you to be like that. Maybe your dad wants you to be like that. But I feel like when I'm talking to someone, we all know that we're just flawed human beings and we like to give each other grace. And you've seen it a lot from different people. So, and I feel like when you're understanding that you're just gonna fail and you're just gonna, like, it's just a normal human experience to do that. I feel like I'm not going through anything special. I'm not a special human being on top of everyone that feels this certain way. I'm like, pretty much everyone has ever felt that way. Like, everyone has felt this way before. Maybe there's some people less woke and are barely waking up about stuff like that, but just what I've been seeing, like, and this has been happening like the whole year, is that a lot of people are very similar than different.
A lot of people are very similar than different. Oh, you mean like we're more like we're more similar than we think we are.
Yeah, like, I mean, you say an experience, I'm like, I felt that. Like, when you say I felt that, like, that means you probably had a similar experience, but it's not the exact experience. Like, you say something embarrassing, like, oh, fuck, I said something embarrassing to this one person. It's like, me too.
We've all said something embarrassing.
Yes, yes. So it's like, where's this pressure on yourself? Like, why do we always have to be so pressured into things? I think I saw it on like a thread somewhere where it was like, everyone write down their most embarrassing thing, and it's like when you go down that thread, you're like, holy shit, I've had that happen with me, or holy shit, I know exactly what you're feeling,
Yeah.
and I think it's kind of terrifying that you don't really have. You do have your own experience, but do you?
I don't find that terrifying at all.
Hmm.
I find that so freeing because first of all, like I've I've thought about this before about it's like when you hear someone else is going through the same thing that you're going through, I think the number one like killer to people more than like even like having a disease is isolation. Like earlier we were talking about like how you would have gone about your problems if you were by yourself. It would have made it so much harder. And I thought the same thing for myself. I was like, I think Jesus Christ, where the fuck would I be if it wasn't for my older brother? Like that guy's like my fucking rock. Like, and he's so strong within himself, and he's so wise, and the thing is, he loves me. And like, and we share a lot of things, and like just having that communion between me and him, that makes you feel supported. That's very secure. When you like, I don't know. I feel like let me try to put this into words here. Um, yeah, it's like if you experience something negative within yourself, like for example, for me, for a while, I used to experience like, oh my god, I'm so like awkward. Oh my god, I'm so weird. And like you don't talk with anybody about that, and you don't know that anybody else feels that way. Like you feel like you're the weird one. You know, like everywhere you go, and you think about it on the inside, you may project it out, but like imagine like you go to like a conference room or like at your work, and then like we all have like a meeting where we all sit down and we all talk, and then it's like, man, like sometimes I feel uncomfortable in conversation, and then everyone else is like, bro, me too. It's like, to me, it's like, first of all, and I was having this conversation with a girl a little while ago. It's so interesting how like it's so much more bonding. I feel like for human beings, for you and me to say, bro, like that summer we had, bro, we were going through it, bro. Like, bro, I was going through it, man. And you were like, yeah, bro, me too. And it's like, man, like I was not doing okay, and then you're like, me too. Rather than like it was like, oh, bro, I got this new fucking job. I'm about to be making 6 figures a month, and you're like, oh shit, bro, me too. I just got a new 6 figure job. Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. It's like I feel so much more connection through like that shared experience of like of a hard time. Because I don't know. I just know that humans are spiritual, social creatures. So I just like I just feel like the more that we all can like share that common ground. I wish that, and I think it's starting to become a thing. I wish that like it would be more just normal to talk about. Like it's so. I made a video about this, but like it's so uplifting to hear like someone who you look up to, like still like admits like their problems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like and like they look so strong and they look so good, and then they admit like, yeah, bro, like, I still fuck up. And to me, I feel like in not expressing or not being okay with those negative feelings, that's like a pressure that you can put on yourself because you feel like in having those like negative feelings or those negative thoughts about yourself, like you hide them out of pressure of like being rejected or being looked down upon by others, but like imagine it's like everyone's hiding,
Yeah. I,
everyone's hiding from each other.
I know, bro.
But imagine if we like just didn't hide, if we just were like just we're open with our humanness.
Yes. No, I mean, like, I don't, like, why don't we like to share that humanness? Why do we always have to pretend that we're doing good? Like, what do you actually think? Like,
It's the ego, and I think that a lot of it comes from our upbringings. Like a lot of like, and this is gonna be something that I'm gonna be probably saying every single podcast. But it all begins with yourself, and a lot of us carry shame with those negative parts of us, shame and guilt, often because when we were children, we were shamed and we were guilted over having those negative emotions. And a very common thing that we do is that we suppress that, and the guilt and the shame stays with that. And the reason why we do that is actually for survival, because like this is a very primal thing of us, because we're animals. Even though we're spiritual and everything, we're animals, and um, like in order to please the parent, to not get kicked out of the family, which thousands of years ago would have meant death, we we change ourselves so that we can fit into mom and dad's house so we don't die. And that's obviously now it's super outdated. Um, but that's where a lot of it comes from, and a lot of people, and then in society, we're not the societies are running on this for a while now. So we're also taught don't behave like that way, not just here, but not anywhere. You know, so it's a society thing as well too, for sure.
do you think we make compromises to fit in, right? I mean, that's what we're doing essentially, right? We're making compromises to ourselves to not be our true selves in order to make other people like us. So that's where I'm having a difficult time to seeing what is like the true answer to that, because it's like, on the one hand, be yourself, don't give a fuck about what people do, but it's like, to have a support group or to have friends. Like, I was thinking, how many, if I truly acted the way I wanted to act, I don't know if I would. I don't know how much disliked I would be. I don't know.
You don't know how much people would stick around if you were to behave the way you wanted to behave.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? Like what? How do you behave, and then how do you feel like Andrew at his core behaves?
How do I behave is like, I mean, it's like we're all listening to each other, we're all caring about each other, we're all loving and stuff like that. And but like, I guess at my core, I'm also like that. But I guess like the when the weird part comes in, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like we all have this weird part about us, and like, I feel like the only ones that let us in or let us see that, like for me personally, was like my significant others and my like girlfriends. They're the only ones that truly saw, like, and honestly, maybe y'all have seen like some weird ass shit, but like, I feel like when I'm with the girlfriend, like, it gets not weird, but like, I feel like if I sit at that out in public, like, yeah, you're gonna be like that.
No,
Yeah,
sorry, you were going. I was gonna say, nah. I understand that you can get fucking not you, but just like anyone. Like you can get fucking weird
weird.
with someone you're really comfortable with. Like I've
Yeah,
done some weird shit,
yes,
like with my girlfriends, but it's like, that's the person that you're the most comfortable with,
yeah.
being that way with.
So is that
That is funny how we're all not just like that, all the time.
right, bro? Because like, I feel like I've gotten to like a maybe a 80% weirdness with y'all, but like, to be truly like myself like that, like, I think only a few handful of girls have seen it. Even just the girls that I've been with, only a handful of those girls have actually seen it.
Yeah. Is there is there something that you're comfortable with sharing, like about like just one thing that you do? You don't gotta like reenact it or anything, but like it's like how you would be weird with like a close girlfriend.
I'm trying to think, because like, it was funny because my most recent one, um, I feel like I was really weird with, and she was really weird with me. So I liked it that, like, and I felt like that's why there was a lot of love there. But I
Yeah.
like that I could be myself and be weird. But I'm trying to think of actually. Oh, I'm
If you don't want to share it, you don't have to.
trying to. Okay, yeah, because there's that one. Like, it's pretty good. But like,
Oh
okay,
shit! Now I
I'll
want to
tell you.
hear it.
I'll tell you, because to someone else it seemed weird, but to my girlfriend it didn't seem weird. So I like that. I want to share it actually. So we were out here on my couch, right, sitting down, whatever, and you know how it gets kind of feisty on the couch sometimes. So you're doing
Feisty
things,
or like spicy?
well, feisty and spicy.
Okay.
Pick one. But so I was there, and I don't know why I started like, I got on top of her like a gorilla, kind of like, ooh, ooh, like, you know how my chemistry.
Oh my god! Why could I see you?
Like, you can see me doing that.
I can fucking see your fucking face.
Well, the problem is that my cousin saw me. So he was walking out his door, and like, he got the back angle of me like doing this shit, knowing that I didn't know that I was not noticing. and he thought he was funny. He was hilarious. But like to anyone, like if you saw that in public, you'd be like, "What the fuck?" You know?
Right. Yeah. See, that's the thing, bro. And I had this realization, like every, going back to, thinking that you're alone and stuff, I feel like we all share like the entire range of like behavior. We all share it to some degree.
Mm. All right.
Like I feel like every single human in their whether it's in their own space, most likely like if you get I think if you bring every single person down and like imagine there was a camera that would like take a video of everybody when they're by themselves.
Oh god. Yeah.
Like everybody does weird shit, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like being human. I feel like being weird is a part of being human.
Yeah.
And like
But and then it also goes back to when you do see someone weird or someone that just you just don't feel like I don't know. There's something about them that you're like that's weird, and you just kind of feel like off around them.
right, I will say that there definitely are good weirds and bad weirds.
Yeah.
Like there's the fucking gorilla.
Yeah.
There's a fucking Mexican gorilla and it's fucking on top of a girl, and then there's like following you home.
Okay.
That's okay. That's weird.
That's weird. Yeah, it's weird.
Like that's like there's like a spectrum.
Uh-huh.
So it's like it's like me. It's like there's weird that is like I feel like there's weird that's safe and fun, and then weird that's like harmful and like
Okay.
and could create some kind of like emotional uh, damage of some sort or something like that, or physical damage. It's like the weird of like a kid eating ants. Like that's hilarious. But then there's the weird of like the 40-year-old man 10 yards away staring at him.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Um.
It's like, but then what is normal? I mean, I understand that's weird, but like you said, it's a spectrum, and I also, yeah, I feel like everything is on the spectrum. To be honest, like your autism. Well, fuck. But I just feel like at one point, and I think it also depends on who is doing it. Because like, if you and I did a weird thing, someone, and like I feel like we have this charismatic part about us, and if we did a weird thing, like, I would follow along with you, or you would follow along with me, or we would all fucking be weird, and we have been weird
Mm-hmm.
together. Not like that, but
Oh, like that.
oh yeah, very much
For
like
the audience, like that.
very much like that.
Everything that people could have cut out about that, we have done. We are a very active group of human beings, me and our friends. But continue.
But when you're in the moment, like you're like what the fuck, like you're like what the fuck is I doing? But then you like see it, and you're like, oh shit, that's cool as fuck. So like you immediately like tie it. But like if you saw like someone who you like perceive as weird do it, you're just like, wow, you're even more weird now.
That's so true.
That's where I'm getting. Yeah.
It's like perception is reality. It's like another way to say that is like if some guy who like isn't funny tries to be funny,
It just
it's like,
makes
oh, like you're less. I think you're less funny now.
yes.
You know?
Like I'm like absolutely pissed off at you right now.
Say that again.
It's like you're like I'm actually pissed off at you right now. Like I don't
Yeah,
like you.
yeah. It's like no, that's so true. Like
But
perception is everything,
yeah.
and it's like
So do you like going back to the core problem? Do you accept the weirdness? Should it's our fault that we're not accepting the weirdness from people? And maybe
yes,
that's what it is.
yeah. I was about to say as you were saying all this, it's like I was imagining myself if I saw somebody doing something weird, and I don't know. I feel like I'm more so at a place where like I'm learning to appreciate everyone in like whatever they are. Um, I've been learning to appreciate the beauty of weirdness more.
Hmm.
You know, like to me, because to me, it's just like a form of expression. And now it's like I don't know. I think being weird is good. Like because let's think about it. Weird is is weird is a contrast to what we can call normal. Oh no, they're like opposites almost. And you were talking earlier. You were like, "What's normal?" And I brought this up before. It's like, and I asked that same question. What is normal? Like normal to you is having a painting over above your door frame, above your bed frame. Normal for me is not having a painting. You know,
Right.
um, it could be normal. Like let's just say like you wanted to run like a 1 minute sprint every single day, but just 1 minute. That's it. That was your workout. Someone could say that's weird. Like, why does he want to just do 1 minute? He thinks that's going to give him cardio. But like to that person, that's normal. So I mean, normal to me is a very like it's probably like the most subjective term I think that like people can use because like another way to look at it too is like normal could be like what the crowd does. And do you want to be with the crowd? Do you want to be normal? Like think about it like this. It's normal to go to school for 12 years, public school, and then go to college and then have debt and then spend 40 years paying that debt off, living a very mediocre, which is another form of like normal, very mediocre lifestyle. It's normal to go on vacation once a year. It's normal to shit. It's normal to eat fast food now. It's funny how now it's like eating healthy isn't normal. Like the norm is eating shit all the time, thinking that it's healthy. Like normal is. I mean, I can go on and on about this about what people call normal, and I think it's good to be good with being weird because the people who are weird, everyone in history who was weird, who was a weirdo? Jesus. You know who was a weirdo? Buddha. You know who was a big ass weirdo? Michael Luther King Jr. Another weirdo. Um, Abraham Lincoln. So like, what makes a weirdo? What makes a weirdo is someone who just behaves differently than most people do. You know, but
Yeah.
it's like it's these weirdos who were okay with their weirdness that changed the world, that changed society. Socrates was a weirdo, talking to the youth, trying to change the way the youth think. And they I think it was Socrates. Um and like he got like exiled. No, 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 don't do that. Like weird is also another way to say polarizing. You know? It's like to I don't know, it's people who are spiritual can be considered weird as well. Like me, I believe like in chakras, I believe in energy, I believe in like in like chi and like manifestation and all that stuff. There are people who are gonna see that who are like, that's fucking weird, you know? But it takes the people who are secure in their weirdness, because like it's true to them. It's like I feel like so many people. I mean, I guess I'm like, it's like okay, it's kind of easier to go with the crowd because that's comfortable. Yeah, that's comfortable being someone who goes with the crowd because you're not going to have people telling you you're weird. You avoid that, and that's an uncomfortable thing. Um, but like, there's more comfort in being with the crowd than there is with being weird. Than there is with being your own person. So there's a price that you pay. It's like, oh, there's a quote by Gabor Mate that he said that I love. He's like, there's two kinds of pains that you can experience. There's the pain of acceptance, and then there's the pain of authenticity. And honestly, bro, I think that it's a lot more painful to not be who I am than it is to be who I am. That's why there's that saying: being hated for who you are than love for who you're not. It's like it's easy to blend in. It's easy to like, and that's interesting too. Why is it so like difficult? Why can it be so difficult to like just stand your own ground and disagree? Like, imagine 10 people saying they feel this way, and you're the only one that's like, nah. It's like that's in a way that's like a form of opposition. And then like in doing that, you receive judgment, and you don't receive what like to our core that we like all. And going back to with our parents, it's like we don't receive acceptance. We run the risk of that when being weird. Like we run the risk of not being accepted as a human being, being pushed out, not having connection. You know, so it's like I'm gonna hide my weirdness so that I could fit in, so that I could have this seemingly secure place. But imagine you find people. You can do that, but imagine you find two other people over there, and they're weird as fuck, but they're weird just like you, and you guys can be weird together. So you don't gotta give a fuck what these 100,000 people over here think. I'm cool with this three right here. And I would even argue that crowd is not. You don't want to be a part of it. I mean, I'm speaking for myself right now. This is my personal belief. You don't want to be a part of that crowd because in that crowd, there's a lot of what? A lot of agreeing. There's a lot of I think there's a lot of gossip. Because the more that your mind is over there to like want to be with the crowd, want to be accepted, you're not going to say how you feel as much. I feel like over there is more the good to your face, dickhead behind your back. Whereas over here, it's more so dickhead to your face, but good behind your back. You know, it's like I love that because that's the true that's how you tell who your friends are. Is like not people who are good to your face all the time. Like I trust the person who tells me, Isaac, you are a fucking asshole. Who calls me out on my shit, who speaks up, you know? Because the way that I see it, it's like if I have a problem with someone, there's nobody else that I should talk about it with but that person. Unless like a situation where like there's another party involved, and like perhaps like you're not doing it to gossip, you're doing it to like get another opinion. It's like doing it in emotionally mature ways. Um, for good reasons, not to spread negativity on someone else's name. We can, going back to our very first point. It's good to have somebody to vent to. You know, but not out of like malicious intent. Where I feel like over here, it's not like a malicious thing. It's just like avoiding the uncomfortable. Where it's like over here going more towards the comfortable or the uncomfortable. Um, yeah, man. So like I think for me it's like one thing that I've been working on doing is just like embracing my weirdness more. It's hard sometimes. Um, but it's like yeah, like I said, it's the people who were weird who make change. Imagine like this over here. Everyone over here just thinks the same. You're not gonna have any new ideas. And then imagine someone over here, someone just is like, hey, like, imagine everyone likes fucking says like, oh, like we eat pizza every day, and then some guy's like, what if one day we ate broccoli? And everyone's like, oh, what the fuck, no, no. And then if he could just be like, all right, well, I guess we'll just eat pizza, but like in his heart, he wants broccoli. So at that point, who is he shooting in the foot? Himself. You know? But there's two motherfuckers over. He's like, he sees two motherfuckers over there who, man, they got some fucking. They eating broccoli over there? Yo, fuck this. I'm gonna go eat some fucking broccoli. I know it's kind of like a copy and paste of my previous example, but it's like that. I feel like that's just what happens, And you and I have spoken about this. How you feel like you've gone, like when you were in Denton. If I can speak on this, how you said how like you would have conversations with people, but you wouldn't have these kinds of conversations with people. And it feels, tell me if I'm wrong, it feels lonely, right?
Yeah.
And I felt the same way too. It's like I'll have conversations, like for example, here when I'm at my pool, there would be people there like almost every single weekend, and I'd go talk to people, but like it wouldn't, I wouldn't have that stimulating conversation. It's like I would talk about what they wanted to talk about, but like in my heart, I knew I don't really care about that. I want to talk about something deeper. I really want to talk about something deeper. And the thing is, most people aren't ready for that. Most people don't like to talk about that, from my experience. I mean, not with you off of first glance. Like I mean, I think I'm the kind of person who I can have a conversation with you, first conversation. That's how you and I became friends.
Yes, that's literally how we. I still remember that first day when we were in that truck.
Yeah, bro, you were fucking like this and shit. Fucking, weren't even looking at my ass when I was talking. You were like this fucking bitch, this fucking this pussy. And then you say one thing, and then I'm like, I forgot who said it first, but like one of us was like bro, you think about that? And you were like, yeah, you think about that? We're like, yeah. We're like, oh, what the fuck? And then we went to like Sonic. We got kept it going,
Yeah.
But it's like we were the guys with broccoli, It's like, and here we are, you know, like what we want to do can be considered by especially like the previous generation as weird. You want to make podcasts? What are you gonna talk about? You're gonna give someone a Chinese guy a blowjob on camera? No, he's Vietnamese. That's weird.
I
No,
guess he was,
grandma.
if he was Korean, maybe, but Vietnamese.
I'm teaching the world something, grandma.
Don't worry, Grandma. I will make the world a better place, and so will. I'll put a smile on Kyoto's face.
One blowjob at a time.
Yep. I mean, that's where it starts. That's really where it starts.
That's where true change begins.
I mean, don't you remember on Abraham Lincoln's speech? He said, free the slaves, and then after that, he was talking about, but make sure each one of them gives you one blowjob each, and we'll make change. Or when Martin Luther King said, I have a dream, and in that dream, I was sucking some major cock that day. I mean,
Is that what he said?
I think so.
Honestly, bro, I feel inspired just hearing that. Like I kind of want to like desegregate the world more now.
Yeah, I know. I want like less child poverty right now. I don't know
I
why. I'm feeling it.
I, I kind of want like slavery to come back just so I can desegregate it, just off of what you just said.
Wow, that's radical change right there. but I guess going back to change and all that, or the people that make change, a couple points that you were talking about that I wanted to talk about a little bit more is that the people that you did announce were people who made change, right? And so they made change, and that these are the people we're talking about to this day. You know what I mean? 200 years later, they're making this change to like us. 200 years later, so it's almost like when you were saying about the weirdness. It's like accept your weirdness, accept, and maybe somewhere in that weirdness, in that fog of weirdness, is your strength. You know, it's like, what if that's something that you've been hiding this whole time for the world, from the world, and like maybe that's us. You know, we're hiding this from the world. We're hiding these feelings, these thoughts that we constantly get. Like in my mind, at least, I always am thinking about stuff like this, and maybe we hide it and we put a shell. I'm speaking just personally, but I guess I put it in a shell, not only because I feel that I'm weird, but it's like, does anyone actually want to talk about this? Because I've had multiple conversations in the past couple of years that just don't go anywhere. And like, I feel like for people like us, when it doesn't go where we want it to go, like, I just felt like unfulfilled. Like, I felt unheard. Like, and you said lonely. Lonely has been probably the hardest thing to deal with when it comes to like thinking these things, is that when there's no one there to like listen to you and hear you and bounce back ideas. And like, I don't know about you, but every time we talk, it's like my brain starts like slowly working again, and like it finally goes back up to like a speed, and like it can be like efficient when I do it. So like, that's what I'm saying. I think we this is perfect for us because yes, it is weird and it's not normal. And it's a society, like you said about the comfortness, when you stay, like for me, if I did the exact normal thing anyone can do, is you immediately get out of high school, go to college, get your degree, get a job, work your 9 to 5, don't complain, and get your benefits and you're good. And it was like very unfulfilling, very unfulfilling.
Get your benefits.
Get your
That's
benefits.
my fucking dad's motto, bro.
Get your
Should go work at Amazon. Yeah, fucking go box shit for 8 hours a day, but you'll get benefits.
benefits.
Yo, fuck those fucking benefits, dude. Honestly, they're probably nice to have, but to like sacrifice like my life doing something that I hate
Yep.
for that, whereas like instead of what I believe is possible of like becoming a millionaire, like doing my passion, doing the weird thing, it's like, what am I going to take? And it's like, it's just so, to me, it's just so, there's so many outdated ways of thinking. So many, like,
Yeah.
and I think is that doing that is like it's so safe, but it's like, are we fucking robots? Like, is that what God, do I believe that's what God put us on earth for? To like fucking, I mean, for some people that's okay. That's what they want, and I'm not gonna hate on that.
Fine. Yeah, totally fine.
But having my own mind and believing what I believe, like, I don't think that's what I was put on this earth for. And it's like, I feel like if you pay enough attention to yourself, like you'll come to realize that. You know, like being conscious and like, and just seeing more for yourself. And like the system likes people who want to just do that because they keep the machines running. But like, I don't know, I feel like a lot more people are about to start like thinking this way soon. I feel like a really big awakening is coming. um I feel like a lot of people are going to be like, I feel like people are going to just start questioning why they're doing what they're doing. You know, like I also feel like before people like would just go do what they do, go to work, and then like they just were stuck in that. They just assumed this is the life that I'm living, and this is the life that I'm supposed to live because this is the quote unquote American dream. But I feel like things going forward are going to start becoming a lot more just conscious. A lot more like a lot more intentional. People who care to do things that fulfill them. And I do think that the more that we uncover what is fulfilling to us, the more that we'll see that it's really just being in service to other people. Think about why we're doing this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like that's definitely one of my passions, is helping other people. So um, that was another reason why I did feel unfulfilled with this job, is because, yes, I was technically helping people in a way, a very subtle way, I guess, but it was definitely not like directly helping people. And especially I like helping people with their problems. You know what I mean? Like their
Mm.
core problems, their feelings and emotions. Because it's like, again, like I mean, what we've been talking about this whole entire time is just, you're not alone. You're not alone in anything you do. And yeah, I think, like you said, waking up is something that a lot of people will do, and I think people are seeing it. I mean, but it's very hard to break out of it until like you actually like start feeling it, and you're like, and I think it starts like, as cliche as it sounds, like one person at a time. Really, it's like you got to work on yourself first. Really, it's no. You start first with yourself, and then like your perspectives start changing. And I've felt this before. Your perspectives start changing. Your Like recently, I've been feeling way more empathetic towards people that I haven't felt in a while, and I'm like, I got my edge back, because that was always my thing, my go-to. I guess I maybe shunned it, maybe pushed it down a little bit further in order to, because I was in a big like, be more assertive, be more say like what you are and all that. And it's like, yes, do all that, but also, I mean, you can listen to people, you can be nice to people, and like, I mean, one of your things, Isaac, is leading with love. Um, that definitely caught my eye before, is when you do lead with love, and you do lead with like this compassion, this driving force that you have personally for yourself, and then that compassion towards other people, and doing what's best not only for you but for everyone. I feel like you're way more successful than if you do it like for yourself, or I do it for the money. You know what I mean? When people say I do it for the money, I just look at them and I'm like, it's like, why? Like, you're so sad, you're so lonely. Like, you're doing it for the money. That that's something, you know.
The Compassionate Warrior. There's a book that I've been reading called The Tao Te Ching,
Okay.
and it's a really old. It's basically like the Bible for like Eastern philosophy. Um, and basically, it talks about how. Let me get it.
Okay. This is the point of the podcast where you get a little fun fact. Fun fact. Let's think about a good fun fact. I have a lot of them, but they're not coming to me right now. But I think a cool one is like, if you fold a paper like 20 times, or I don't know how many exactly. I think everyone knows this probably. But basically, if you fold the paper like 20 times or 30 times, you can reach the moon. Is what I think it's what it says. But I don't know. That's your fun fact for the day. We'll come back next time for another one. Okay, well, a personal fun fact as well. This is my favorite color. Welcome back.
Thank you. I heard that you were about to lay another fact down for the audience.
Well, if you let me keep going, I would have.
Is there anything?
Well, your sexy ass came back and left me speechless.
That's why Andrew gets girls, guys. Just lays down fucking straight heat. Like you can't see my bottom half right now, but I'm fucking soaked. Like my apartment complex has 2 pools now after Andrew just fucking said that shit. And there's no lifeguard on duty. God damn. Andrew fucking Martinez.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to read this here. I mean, it kind of says what I was thinking. There was another passage that I read, but it says the compassionate warrior will be the winner, and if compassion is your defense, you will be secure.
Yeah.
And think about that. Compassion as your defense. Oh, oh, hold on. Hold on, Andrew.
Okay.
Andrew, wait.
Okay.
Relax. Okay, stop yelling at me, please. Andrew,
Mm-hmm.
can you like chill out? I'm looking for it. I know we have a podcast going, but you're being a little patient right now. Bro, give me a fucking minute. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they can call me a fucking cucumber right now for how chill I am.
Fuck. Okay, I can't find the fucking passage, but basically in a nutshell, it just says is that like compassion, like basically being a winner is being like a killer like means nothing without compassion.
Mm. Okay.
Oh, I know exactly which one it is now, but I don't. You got another fact for the audience?
Yeah, I could think of one. I could think of one.
Okay, give me like 2 minutes. I know which one I'm thinking of now.
Hey, guys, they gave me 2 minutes on the clock. Fun facts. Fun facts.
Oh, I got it.
Didn't need it. Didn't
I'm
need it.
ready.
We're back.
All right, Andrew. So, weapons are the bearers of bad news. All people should detest them. A wise man values the left side, and in a time of war, he values the right. Weapons are meant for destruction, and thus are avoided by the wise. Only as a last resort will a wise person use a deadly weapon. If peace is her true objective, how can she rejoice in the victory of war? Those who rejoice in victory delight in the slaughter of humanity. Those who resort in violence will never bring peace to the world. The left side is a place of honor on happy occasions. The right side is reserved for mourning at a funeral. While when the lieutenants take the left side to prepare for war, the general should be on the right side, because he knows the outcome will be death. The death of many should be greeted with great sorrow, and the victory celebration should honor those who have died. Well, honestly, that's not exactly what I was remembering he was going to say, but I just read it anyways. But basically, in a nutshell, it's like even even like how do we start talking about compassion?
I
Oh, I
think.
think we were talking about like our works and like what we want to do like with the world, like being compassionate.
Right.
I might have taken us on a crazy fucking tangent, but oh yeah, you were saying being compassionate
Right.
instead of like being okay. I remember what I was gonna say now. So you were talking about how like there was some point where you were like, yes, yes. There was some point where you were saying how you want to be more assertive, more like we can say quote unquote dominant, and you were like do that, but also have compassion. You know, you, it's like if you were just do that, you know, it's like you leave out like the humanness because this over here, when left to itself, can be like just straight ego. And I feel like ego is always very defensive. Ego is always very attacking. It's like has to be better than you. It's judgmental. It has to always be right. That's a very that's a very defensive position to be in. But back to what I was saying on this thing. How it said that compassion is is the I think it said it's the best. If compassion is your defense, you will be secure. So it's like if compassion is your defense, you'll be secure. Think about someone who does not have compassion. Their it's like their aggression and their their ego, that's their defense. You know, they have to rely on attacking for defense. But it's like if you just carry yourself, and what the book talks about more is just like having almost that. I think it weighs compassion as even more powerful than that, because if you're just compassionate, it's like your walls are already down, so there's no defense. But like that's a secure defense in yourself because the compassionate warrior understands that it's better to be compassionate with like, you know, having those skills within you, having those like that killer instinct within you, rather than carry yourself with the killer instinct and like, you know, give, you know, withhold compassion. That's what I took from that. And what you just said like brought that out in me. Is like the importance of that is having compassion for other human beings, you know. And me personally, I feel a lot of compassion for the world right now because I feel like I feel like the world is a very I feel like we like people need a lot of compassion right now, not just for each other but for ourselves, especially because Jeter, especially because he's ready, especially because, you know, it's funny we talk about like people who just go for the money. It's a very self-serving thing, and I feel like we've been living in a world for the past few years now that's become more and more self-serving. Social media. Oh, I gotta get the car, I gotta get the house, I gotta get the girl, so I can feel good. I can feel good. I can feel good. But I think this just leads to a bottomless pit because it's never enough. You know, and that's how I felt with my work. You know, I was doing what I was doing for the money, and bro, it's so funny when you were talking about your job, word for word. I felt the exact same. Like, yeah, like, you know, I'm helping them get a new roof, but am I really helping them? Like, I'm helping them with something materialistic. Is a new roof going to solve their problems? No, they're going to forget about it in like maybe a few months. And I'm sure with you, okay, I can build this building. Or what would you do? Was it electrical engineering or
Yeah. Those is like transmission lines, or like I don't know if you see like the poles that carry three wires, and they're going somewhere. Essentially, just taking electricity from the power generator to the actual wherever it needed to go. So using poles to do that.
yeah, I want to hear more, but you're getting kind of dark.
Yeah, no, I was thinking that. Let me turn on my light.
Andrew's very good at turning things on. Guys, watch how. Oh, see how I just did that, Andrew? You dirty dog.
I like to bring things from the dark into the light.
And he's also philosophical as well.
Is that better? Do you see?
Yeah, I can see you way better now.
Yeah, I was
But
looking at.
like I was gonna say, like talk about that, like the way you see it, like the service that you were giving, but in relation to what you know how you feel now.
Yeah. So like, yeah, no, that would happen where you I mean, I would essentially design these poles and design like I remember my last thing was reading a transmission line or a couple lines for this one company that was doing like some Bitcoin. And so like, yeah, that helps people indirectly. And like, where I noticed it is that like, say for example, someone would text me and be like, or you would use Teams and be like, "Hey Andrew, I need help with this, and that, and that, and that. Do you mind if you can help?" And to me, just like doing that little thing was like way more. Um, what's the word? Like,
Fulfilling.
yeah, it made me feel way better about myself to help someone in need at that moment than to create a whole like transmission line for some company like that would literally change the world. Not change the world, but change a lot. You know what I mean? Change. I mean, those are real things that you can actually observe and see and understand that, like, oh, I made that difference in this world. But the fact that I liked when someone said, like, "Hey, Andrew, can you help me with this?" And like, it was rare when someone would say, like, "Hey, can you help me with this?" Besides my boss, because I mean, you're working for your boss. You're not working. So when someone else would ask me, and like, I felt like I wanted to help. I wanted to, like, even try harder for them in some
Mm,
way than if I was doing the work for myself. So
right. Yeah. No, I can relate with my job. Like I felt like, well, with me personally, so my job was knocking doors. So my job was to go up to doors and to basically tell people about a problem that they didn't know that they had. And sometimes people will have, I mean, the way that I view the roofing game is like, to me, honestly, it's fucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. Like, yes, like it's a legal system in play, but it's like basically like on an entire roof, how like a roof gets bought by insurance, because that's what I would do, is that we would file claims through insurance and insurance would pay. So it's like, oh, here's the roof, and like if there's like a certain number of like little spots where like where like some granulars are falling off, then the entire roof can get replaced. And there were so many times where I would be on a roof, and in my heart, I'm like, I don't like this roof looks fine, but I knew that insurance would probably pay for it. And did like was I giving this person something that I felt like they actually needed? No, but I knew that I knew that insurance could pay for it. It could put a new roof on their house, and I would get and like I said, I would get paid. But it didn't feel like something that this person really needed. I'm like, and I would talk to my boss about it, and he would just tell me like, yeah, I mean, like it can get done, and they'll buy it. And the only time that it actually felt good was when I would talk to somebody and they'd be like, "Oh my god, thank God, I really need a roof." Whereas like everyone else, I'm like, I kind of told it was more so selling them on it than helping them with it.
how did that make you feel?
It made me feel like a liar. It made me feel like I was manipulating people. Um, and I can't point the finger because I chose to do that. for that long. And I mean, it's a huge business in America. Like, there's so many fucking roofing companies, and granted, like, there are people that genuinely need, can get help with it. But just in my experience, and for the most part, a lot of times it just didn't seem like the roof needed replacing that bad. Yeah, I don't want to say for the most part. I'd say like maybe half. Half of them didn't need replacing that bad, but they could have, and I knew that, and I knew they could have. Um, and just saying that, like, it doesn't feel good. And then, like, I always wondered, like, what would happen with people's rates, like, because sometimes when you file a claim, like, your rates will go up. And my boss would always tell me, he always be like, nah, their rates never go up, like they shouldn't. And I went on Google and I saw that they shouldn't, but like the thing is that there were some times where, like, I would file a claim with someone and their insurance would um would drop them if they got denied. And I was just like, fuck, like, I didn't want that to happen. So it's like, in the service that I'm giving, there's potential negative outcomes. And nothing's perfect, but it's like, I just know I would rather do a work where, like, both sides benefit equally. Like, no, there's no loser. It's a win-win. And do I think that, like, I think maybe in my year and a half of doing it, I think maybe, like, perhaps, like, that happened once or twice, but still. And maybe that's just life. It's very rare where you go on a Google page and the reviews are 5.0. A lot of times they're 4.8, 4.9, 4.7, because not everything's gonna go perfectly and smoothly, and insurance is a little bit of a dirty game too. Um, Within itself, like, there's a lot of. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I did see a lot of bullshit too. I did see a lot of bullshit. Like, a lot of people who honestly should have gotten new roofs but didn't. But I did know that, just like, the whole idea of what I was helping out with just didn't align with me. You know, um, and it takes like real. I think it takes like real self reflection and, like, accepting how you feel. Because I knew that I wasn't fucking with this work for a while. But I didn't have that inner strength within me to be able to walk away, because I was always on this fence of, like, I'm doing good work and I'm like, I don't know about this. It's like back and forth and back and forth. But now we're here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like, yeah, because at my core, I knew from like the very beginning, maybe 1 or 2 months, that like sitting down in an office, not being sociable, which I also like, just to be like talking to people every once in a while. It doesn't have to be all the time, but sitting down, not being sociable, not being what I did like is working in a team. Um, there was times where we had to work like as a team or like partners, and like I feel like I didn't get that a lot in school, because usually in school someone does like 8% of the work and 20% the other person does, and it was never like a collaborative thing. But I felt great when we would come together in like the conference room, and it's like, this is like, your boss would, kind of tear it down for us and be like, hey, this is what we need to do. This is what your job is for, and this is what your job is for. Or you're gonna do this and you're gonna do that. So we would go, and then he's like making sure that you guys talk together about it and work on it together. and make sure you guys are talking at all times. And I remember him saying that, and like to me, that was I liked um, that he could delegate tasks that were well and give it to us. And so when we would work together, I felt good. You know, I mean, I felt like I was in a team. I felt
Mhm.
like I feel like most guys probably feel this way, but when you the only I feel like as guys, most of the time we have to be on a team in order to truly feel that brotherhood. I guess. I mean, it's not even brotherhood, but like that connection, I guess, between men. Because as guys, like we don't really talk a lot like this at all. Really, I mean, there's very few guys that I can talk to about like this. But like when you're on a team, like you have like this sense of like camaraderie. That word. And I think it was fulfilling then when I felt like I can like we got each other's backs, and I like that feeling that I felt working there.
Yeah, dude. Looking back on my life, probably some of the happiest times of my life were when I was with a team. That's that communion. That's that acceptance. Like that's and to me, that's what we are. That's what being a human is at its core. It's it's leaning on each other. You know, like you got my back, I got your back, type shit. Um, that's a great feeling, man.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
I feel like also it's kind of funny because guys are like this as well. And we're like, bro, we would say the most fucked up shit to each other. Like we would roast each other, clown each other, like make the worst jokes to each other. But at the end of the day, I knew they had my back,
yeah.
and I don't think it's like that on the other side for females.
On the other side, we're what?
Like the uh, female gender.
No, I think they're the same.
You think so?
I think they're the same. Yeah, I think girls who are like really close friends with each other are the same. They talk, but they're like really close though. Like
Okay,
I feel like they talk, they definitely talk shit to each other too.
okay.
Like, bitch, you fucking slut.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you dumb bitch. You know,
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
like you talk shit to the people who like you're the closest to.
Yeah, you're right. You're definitely right about that.
You know what I mean, pussy?
What do you mean, motherfucker? No, I agree with that. I agree with that. I guess, yeah. No, but like but it did feel good to like have like if I had needed someone like in terms of work, they were there for me. So
That's good, bro. Well, we're at an hour 30. I know. I feel like we can keep going, but
yeah,
we could keep going. But I say we cut this off. I think this has been a really good podcast,
yeah.
and I think that we should just call it. And
Call it. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. No, I'm down.
you want to close us out?
Alrighty, well, this is part three of our all inclusive podcast with your host and the most Isaac Garcia.
And
And
the sexiest and the wettest Andrew Gutierrez. Sorry, Andrew Martinez.
similar, but yes, thanks for listening to us, guys. I know, again, I want to always like include this that like you're not alone. You're not alone in anything you do. We're here to help, and I feel like hopefully provide guidance to people.
That's right,
But I hope you all have a good day.
guys. Peace.
Peace.